Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Well, Juneteenth celebrations honoring the end of slavery in the U.S. are happening across the country today. The city of Philadelphia lit up to celebrate the day, and Mayor Jim Kenney established it as an official city holiday. In Washington, D.C., demonstrators are gathering outside the African American History and Culture Museum, and across the country, various marches are being held too. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is pushing to make Juneteenth a New York state holiday. Well, today, hundreds of thousands across the nation will take part in what could be the largest collective Juneteenth celebration in recent memory. While it's been celebrated for more than 150 years, this year, Juneteenth celebrations are honoring the ending of slavery have taken on a renowned interest for many. Danny Morrison, the event organizer for Light a Candle, explains how they are going to wrap up their weeks-long celebration.
Today we're going to have music, and we'll have spoken word, and we'll have some dancing, and we want to celebrate. We've had some real serious conversations over the last couple of weeks, but today we want to celebrate.
The Light a Candle conversation has been taking place for the past 2 weeks. Morrison hopes people can get to know the African American residents in town and learn more about their culture through those conversations. Now, the last Light a Candle conversation will be tonight at 7 p.m. at Yoctis Park. Well, happening tomorrow, a Bakersfield Juneteenth celebration is set to take place. Now, according to the event organizer, there will be kid activities, food, along with voter registration. Now, hand sanitizer and hand washing stations will be available there. Now, according to the organizer, security will be strictly enforced. Now, that event kicks off at noon at that same park at 4200 Empire Drive. Well, for the first time, some major companies are making Juneteenth a holiday for employees. There are some of the Fortune 500 companies that will recognize it this year: Uber, Target, JCPenney, Google, Twitter, Best Buy, and Nike. MasterCard, Spotify, and Lyft are just a few others. General Motors is asking workers to support the Black community by stopping work for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Now, that's how long a white Minneapolis police officer knelt on the neck of George Floyd before he died, sparking protests around the world. Well, now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Today, Public Health announced 116 new COVID-19 cases. The death toll stands at 58. Right now, over 1,000 people are infected and isolating at their homes. 68 people are in the hospital. Kern has now had 3,700 cases of COVID-19. Over 2,500 people have recovered, and 677 tests are still pending. More than 42,000 residents have been tested for COVID-19. Now, before you leave the house today, don't forget your mask. It's now mandatory in California. Governor Gavin Newsom issued a statewide mandate yesterday. In short, you must wear a mask at all times when social distancing is not an option. People now have to wear masks at the workplace, while receiving healthcare services, and while waiting for or inside public transportation or ride shares. The decision extends to outdoor spaces when physical distance isn't possible. Governor Gavin Newsom says he made the order because he's seen too many uncovered faces, which he says risks the progress California has made in fighting that virus so far.
Please wear face coverings. We are mandating it. Do justice. Protect yourself. Protect your loved ones. This virus has not gone away.
There are some exceptions to this new mandate, including people with medical conditions that prevent them from wearing one, children aged 2 and under, and people exercising outdoors. Newsom's administration says not complying carries a misdemeanor charge and other possible financial penalties.
I expect there'll be overwhelming compliance. Not everybody. And when there are abuses, we'll do what we did on the stay-at-home order. We'll enforce through our regulatory frame. We'll encourage people to do the right thing, but there's social persuasion.
Well, Tulare County Sheriff Officer Mike Boudreau commented on the mask enforcement situation. Now, he says, quote, "I encourage our communities to take all precautionary measures mandated by the governor's office to prevent the spread of COVID-19. However, our enforcement efforts will only include encouraging compliance. While I want our residents to take the precautionary measures they feel are appropriate, we simply do not have the resources to conduct mask enforcement." And former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger released a statement on the mandate. requiring those face coverings. Now, he says, quote, "This is 100% the right move. This will help us beat the terrible virus. The science is unanimous. If we all wear masks, we will slow down the spread and can reopen safely. It's not a political issue. Anyone making it a political issue is an absolute moron who can't read," end quote. Well, the governor's new order has the Bakersfield Homeless Center scrambling to get more masks for all of its residents. Cindy Leiday says right now there are 200 people staying with them and half are children. They're asking the community to donate adult or youth-size masks to make sure they have enough to go around. Now, she says they need at least to double the amount of cloth masks so they can rotate wearing and washing, but they will also accept disposable ones. Now, if you would like to help or drop off some masks at the Bakersfield Homeless Center, they're at 1600 East Truxton Avenue. Now, you can do that Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you have any questions or would like to donate money to buy those masks, you can call 322-9199. New at noon, a baby remains in critical condition after reportedly falling out of a window in downtown Bakersfield. Police say it happened just after 12:30 Thursday morning at the Santa Fe Apartments on Union Avenue near 8th Street. Officers say a call came in that a baby had fallen out of a window at one of the units. Police tell us they found a young child hurt at the scene. Now, that male child sustained life-threatening injuries. The child is at the hospital and is still undergoing medical evaluation. No arrests have been made at this time. Officers are still investigating how that child got out of the window. The lawyer representing convicted murderer Leslie Chance is hoping to have the charges against her dismissed. He claims sheriff's investigators failed to preserve evidence, and the amount of time that passed from the killing to when she was charged made it possible for her to receive a fair trial. If that motion is denied, attorney Tony Lidgett is asking for a retrial due to the juror and prosecutor misconduct. The prosecution is expected to file an opposition to Lidgett's motion sometime next month. Now, Chance was found guilty of first-degree murder and the killing of her husband, Todd. She faces 50 years to life in prison. Well, as the warmer weather heats up, a warning about the dangers of heat exposure. A new report from the Centers for Disease Control shows about 700 Americans die each year from heat-related causes. Natural heat exposure was also a contributing cause of death for certain chronic illnesses, and medical records show heat played a role in some alcohol poisoning and drug overdose fatalities. Now, Kevin, I think that's something we all need to keep in mind right now, being safe in the heat. It is going to be a hot one out there, and we need to avoid, exposing ourselves to that heat.
Yeah, there are several things we really need to think about when we start to heat up here in Kern County. We are going to see a slow progression into the triple digits as we head into the weekend and really hot next week. So we need to check on our neighbors. We need to check on the elderly. Not everybody has the luxury of having an air conditioner, and some don't even have a swamp cooler. All they have is a fan. So when we start to see the triple digits, we need to think about those that are vulnerable to the heat. Let's show you what we've got going on right now. 91 in Bakersfield at this time. We have a light wind out of the northwest at 7. Overnight, we were at 67, so pretty close to the normal for this time of year. 92 is the normal high, and 109 the record set back in 2017. As we take a look at the numbers right now, all areas basically into the 90s, and we've got a few 80s in the valley. And then for the mountain temperatures, 70s and 80s right now. Mojave at 90. 97 out of Ridgecrest. Skies remain clear around California. No changes on that front in the near future. And take a look at the numbers for today. Sacramento at 90, 99 in Fresno, and then 70s down to the south into LA and San Diego. The beach is also looking very nice this afternoon. In fact, not even in the 70s. We should be looking at upper 60s this afternoon with a light wind. So high pressure will continue to build on in here the next few days. One thing we'll watch for next week is there is a system developing out of the north, and with this ridge going to position itself over the Four Corners region, we may see some isolated thunderstorms early next week. Not so much in Kern County. I think it'll be remaining along the Sierra Crest, and you can see here on Futurecast HD, not a lot happening for us. Maybe a few high clouds next week. Air quality today will be unhealthy for sensitive groups. Your AQI at 119, and today will be right near 100, 99 in Bakersfield, 100 100 in Delano and also McFarland, 97 in Taft. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, 84 in Frazier Park, 85 in Tehachapi, 90s into the Kern River Valley, Lake Isabel 93. And then for the desert, we're looking hot, 100 in Ridgecrest. Your extended forecast shows 100 tomorrow, Father's Day. Make sure you give your dad a big hug, and you can see 101. And then next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right near 103, 104. Mountain forecast also warming up in the upper 80s to lower 90s next week. And the Kern River Valley forecast will keep you in the 90s this weekend, and then you'll be flirting with those triple digits Monday through next Thursday. So definitely a warm-up. If you are going to be out in the heat, make sure you're staying hydrated and take frequent breaks. Nicole?
Thanks so much for that, Kevin. Well, Kern County firefighters worked for a full day to contain a brush fire. Now we can confirm that the Baker fire off Bina and Caliente Bodfish roads is 100% contained. Kern County Fire says 165 acres burned. Fire crews were called to the area around 6:30 Wednesday evening. It was contained about 24 hours later. All this comes as we officially begin wildfire season in Kern County. And with wildfire season underway, there are some things you should keep in mind. Where there's fire, there's smoke. So when there's an active fire, be sure to take care of your lungs. Wildfire smoke contains particulate matter, which can trigger asthma attacks and aggravate chronic bronchitis. This smoke can also increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. Taking care of your lungs is especially important during the COVID-19 outbreak. If you're exposed to dirty, polluted air, move inside as soon as possible. If you're already indoors, keep your doors and windows closed. Well, if illegal fireworks have been keeping you up at night, you're not alone. After seeing a surge in complaints over the weekend, both city and county fire have encouraged citizens to reach out if they hear illegal fireworks. Now, according to the Kern County Fire's website, they have received 612 reports in the past 3 days. The Bakersfield Fire Department says they've had 12 times as many reports of illegal fireworks, 142 reports last weekend alone. During that time last year, they had 12 reports. BFD rolled out its firework response team early because of this, and Kern County Fire has launched a new online tip line to combat the increase in illegal activity.
We want individuals to have a healthy and enjoyable quality of life here in Kern County. There's no reason to use these fireworks that are just harming your community. They're robbing your own neighbor from quality of life.
Now, those found using illegal fireworks face a minimum fine of $1,000. Well, as the city of Bakersfield prepares to finalize its budget for next year, local movements are calling on the city council to redirect funds from the police department. In about a week, the $628 million budget is up for vote. Of that, close to $120 million is set to go towards BPD, roughly a 10% increase from last year because of new funding from Measure N. If the budget is approved, the department is expected to add 44 positions over the next year, including an additional 29 sworn officers. Now, there's a movement called People's Budget BACO, calling for the city council to take some of that money from the police department and instead invest it in other parts of the community.
Over 40% of our general fund is spent on policing, but we're looking at where we've been in a housing crisis. We're looking at a worse housing crisis coming. We're not seeing a lot of money there. We're not seeing a lot of money going to our schools. We're not seeing a lot of money going to infrastructure. We're not seeing a lot of money going to the places that community in this moment and prior has already stated they would like money spent. But we keep seeing that the thing that a lot of people, specifically Black people and brown people and disenfranchised folks in this city have stated millions of times that they don't want money going to is getting the bulk of funds.
The council is set to take up the proposed budget on June 24th. Well, local dreamers in our community say they feel some relief after living in constant fear of being deported. Carlos Avedano is a student at CSUB. He has been living in the U.S. since he was 5 years old, and his parents are farm workers. He says the DACA program changed his life and opened doors for him and his family.
DACA has helped me feel not a little bit, but more secure to be here in this country, to work, to show up.
The program suspends deportation and gives certain undocumented immigrants the right to obtain work permits and Social Security numbers. Other Dreamers we spoke with say they're happy about the Supreme Court's decision, but the fight is far from over.
It's not a permanent solution. We're still fighting and advocating because we do want a path to citizenship. You know, we've been working hard. We contribute to this country, to the economy. So we do deserve a path to citizenship.
CSUB Bakersfield released a statement yesterday regarding the Supreme Court's decision about the DACA program. You can find that on our website, kget.com. Well, BC is speaking up about the Scottish decision. The college released a statement. In part, it reads, "The decision is significant for our Bakersfield College students. It means they can continue to focus their energy on successfully completing their degrees without the burden of not knowing where to call home." Well, from our roadwork file, a full closure is planned next week for a section of Highway 99. On Monday night, the northbound lanes will close near the junction of Highway 58 from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Crews will be pouring concrete on the widened westbound State Route 58 bridge. Officials say the closure may be in place during the same hours Tuesday night if necessary to remove equipment. Now detours will be in place. In our 17 Business Watch, new unemployment numbers out for Kern County. Now, according to those numbers, the unemployment rate has dropped slightly in May compared to April. That rate remains higher than the state, though. Last month, the jobless rate was at 18.3% compared to 18.7% in April. Now, that's according to the State Employment Development Department. Kern County's unemployment rate is 2% higher than California's average at 16.3%. Now, according to data in April, the county gained almost 4,000 jobs, but lost 53,000 jobs in May. Well, GSK Consumer Healthcare is voluntarily recalling 2 lots of children's cough syrup. The recall affects children's Robitussin honey cough and chest congestion and children's Dimetapp cold and cough medicines. Now, the Food and Drug Administration says the medicine is being recalled over a possible overdose risk because the included dosage cups are not marked properly. If you have the recalled cough syrup, stop using it immediately and contact your physician or healthcare provider if you've experienced any problems.